Hey everybody, Reflexive Moon here. So tonight we are doing something a little bit special, a little bit different, a little bit glowed up. Shout out to Kate Tranada. Um, so it is a super full moon, and what that means is at around, so there's going to be a lunar eclipse. It's going to happen early this morning. If you're on the West Coast in North America, you'll be able to see it. And that means that the earth is going to block the light from the sun, but not entirely. So it'll appear orange, like Orange Moon, like Erykah Badu's song. I'm an orange moon. So tonight we are doing like a little special taste of how we roll over on Twitch. I often use the black light, and then I will be debuting this deck on YouTube. I'm not sure, I don't think I've used this deck on YouTube yet, but I know that I've used it on Twitch 100%. So it is the Triomphe de la Luna by Patrick Valenza. I am a fan, low-key fangirl of some things. That's how I roll. So what this deck has 10 bonus oracle cards. It looks really, it's the paradoxal blue of the Triomphe de la Luna. Paradoxal blue looks killer in blue light. And we have special supermoon times happening right now. We are protected with love and prayers. You know, in some cultures it's considered a bit of a weakness when the moon's light is diminished in that way. I know in Vedic astrology there's the whole Rahu Ketu stories, and yeah, I'm not really sure if a whole lot of other stories, to be quite honest. There'd be some interesting things to research. But yeah, so earlier I was on Twitch doing a live spread, so you can catch me on Twitch hopefully on a regular basis, if all goes well, Wednesdays and Fridays, and then I will be hanging out live every full moon on Twitch. We are prepared. We have tea. It's tea and tarot time. We have water. So please make sure you are taking your body breaks. Body break. And yeah, let's get started. Reminds me of all those, oh, we got some flippers. That's too many. Reminds me of all those little YouTube videos of the kids. Now this is my channel. I'm going to be doing this. Now let's get started. So earlier in the spread, I pulled a card that that sort of gave me some like throat chakra vibes. Please leave a comment if I don't speak up. I know that I have a tendency to mumble, so some constructive feedback would be great. And I'm going to try and keep the voice on a certain level at a certain tone. And hopefully this black light special is not overdoing it in the realm of sensories. I am living for these glow-in-the-dark moons, though. Indie City, catch them on Insta. Catch me on Insta. I'm currently trying to build up social media platforms. I'm quite the analog girl in a digital world. Shout out again to Erykah. Okay, so we'll go with this. We have the Five of Swords. Pulled that earlier. So the Five of Swords earlier, I was using the, what was I using? The Dreamer's deck, which I would like to use next time, because it's a really cool deck. It's like very sort of Victorian chic, nouveau Victorian chic with, we got some Pentacles here. The Four of Pentacles. Anyways, the deck is cool. We'll use it next time, talk about it more then. Earlier, we pulled this Gaia card using the Moon Oracle, which is a really cool sort of like centered in Kabbalistic teachings. I think I have to learn more about it, but this Gaia card, we pulled several cards, and I don't know. We just spent some time on Twitch, like reading and just chilling out, talking about the possibilities that these oracles and cards we were pulling meant. So yeah, it's a little bit more laid back. You know, I was live for a couple of hours, so trying to keep it, just trying to keep it open for chat, interactive, because I know on here you have to have like a certain amount of followers before you can go live, and I don't know, I'm not really seeking like big time activities here on the tube, but I'm very grateful for the tube nonetheless. And we have the King of Swords. King of Swords is, I don't know, it's a good kind of card that I would want to have overlooking the situation. So the first card we pulled was the Five of Swords. So the fives usually have to do with, I mean, the Suit of Swords period is like mental turmoil, challenge, like balancing your mind to match your heart, and like the conflict that goes with that. So let's just look that up here. I was trying to find, because it's digital, this deck, the book that goes with it. The original deck that Mr. Valenza created is in color, very rustic colors, like true to the antique original Tarot de Marseille. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm really kind of butcher French at times, so my bad to all the French folks out there. So the Five we have is competition, conflict, a bully, intimidation, a criminal act, aggression, unprovoked violence, or hostility. And then in the deck that we had earlier, that we were using earlier, this lovely Dreamkeeper's Tarot, the card actually looked like a woman who was like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, and Savvy. And oh my gosh, I love Captain Jack Sparrow. He's the guy that you want to party with. So on either side of her in the water, she's on this like rocky place. The water is hitting the shore, like the rocky shore, and splashing up behind her a little bit. And she's got like Davy Jones like squid tentacles, which and squids are actually a very intelligent animal. One of the most intelligent animals, I think, if I'm correct. And she's got two men behind her, so forward thinking, but also maybe a choice, like forward thinking in terms of like polyandry, but also because of the conflict, and not like, and like hostility, it could be, there could be some type of situation that you're involved with that is centered in a lack of consent. Maybe a love triangle where you don't have, like, you need to make a choice between two people, or one person's okay with it but the other person isn't, And it's like wanting your cake and like wanting to have your cake and eat it too, which I feel like it's a terrible, what is that called, a euphemism? Because like, who the heck has cake and doesn't eat it? But anyways. Okay, so crossing that we have the Four of Pentacles, so balance with sustainability and monetary like endeavors. And the fours, let's see here. Do 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 do. Okay, so upright meaning. I don't know if that's upright or reverse. Looks the same. So, clinging to one's possessions, a scarcity mindset, a miser or a cheapskate, fear of financial risk or loss, a hoarder, oh, goodness gracious, or guarding your wealth. I like that idea. Guarding your wealth. And maybe guarding your wealth has to do with keeping people around who are kind of shady, because maybe your social wealth, your networks require a connection. Or maybe there is just drama in your life, and you need to hold your own. Maybe you need to move. Maybe you need to find a different group, or like just go through that whole process of the fives where you have the wounded warrior that's laid to rest in time of, recovery, recuperation. So maybe this is the point before then where like someone's messing with your money and it's making you go nuts, making you look cheap. Meanwhile, you're being violated on some level. So it's real and valid. King of Swords. This is the guy that I would want overlooking the situation. This guy is this person, this individual. I just said the S word. It sounded terrible. My bad. We are not subscribing to gender conformity. This human being here, this person runs things. They are analytical. They are emotionally intelligent. They have an uncanny ability to be detached and objective. The Queen the Queen of Swords also has those things, but like the Queen of Swords is a little bit more cutthroat. Like the Queen of Swords, like the sword is very double-edged when it comes to the Queen. But this person here, he knows, like he only draws out his sword out of necessity because he's already got things held down. And what's interesting about this king is that like he's holding, like this king will also like save face, and he'll lead you to believe that everything is under control. Meanwhile, he's keeping an erupting volcano at bay. He's making sure everybody keeps their cool, even though there's an erupting volcano. Speaking of erupting volcanoes, love and prayers going out to the folks who have been deeply impacted and traumatized by the volcano eruptions in St. Vincent. And What else is interesting about this king is that he's holding like a bloody dagger behind him. So he will deal. This person will deal in whatever, by whatever means necessary. And you won't see it. You won't know. Okay. Ooh, the fates. We pulled this card earlier as well. So we got the Wheel of Fortune. You're on the right path. Subconsciously, you know it. Subconsciously, you're developing on time in the right space, because time is I mean, space and time are both very subjective concepts, but yeah. Justice reversed, it showed up for a past. So, you know, this is quite relevant to the 5. And, you know, maybe you are the king overlooking your situation. You'll cut ties if you have to in order to come through from an injustice. Justice is like the Queen of Swords, Athena. That double-edged sword. Just gonna... Yeah, so the King of Swords is like high performance, like I said, and also has high moral standards. Like, I feel like if it's essential that you got blood on your sword, it's also equally essential that you are maintaining decorum. And like reversed, like this guy's not someone that you want to have in your life. Reversed, like extreme narcissism. Also could be very undisciplined and sloppy because he doesn't have his crap together. And for justice, for the Wheel of Fortune, you know, it has to do with luck, the cycle of life, the passing of time, and changing circumstances. So, I mean, it's good. It's good that you are dealing with this 5, and this is shown up in your subconscious. Like, it is basically helping you cope through whatever traumatic experience. You are equipped to tolerate this turmoil, this act of violence, this betrayal. And justice, you know, you've been dealing with unfair decisions. Maybe like work isn't treating you properly, or just being like left with more responsibilities than you should. Say, for example, you aren't getting child support for your kids, or you're not getting a raise that you have worked very hard and deserve. Like, it's so interesting how like we center or uphold the ideology of merit, like meritocracy, and yet we completely undermine people constantly, you know, individualizing people's problems just for the sake of, you know, keeping the rat race alive. So this speaks to corruption, dishonesty, lack of morality, or it could also be like, you know, some judgy bitch in your life. I mean, I certainly am guilty of being that person. All right, and we have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is super creative, charismatic, warm, but also powerful. I really like this card. Like, obviously she's kind of creepy, and this is like the octopus, like the tentacles of hair. So very much like the Five of Swords in the Dreamkeeper's Tarot. But she's holding the wand, she's carrying the light, and all of the dark spirits are behind her. The light is keeping the demons behind her. She's like still creepy as fuck, but she's got it under control. All right. So this queen is in your immediate future. So this could be a person that you're about to meet. This could be a person who, it could be you, it could be the embodiment of what you're moving towards with this shift in attitude towards, not attitude towards yourself, but shift in core thinking, worldview perhaps. And, you know, like I was mentioning before with the business of the throat chakra energy coming up in the last spread, you know, the Queen of Wands is also very assertive. Like, she's like the fire under your butt, you know? She keeps things moving. And she's very passionate and determined, right? Like, she's got her torch. She's good with this torch, and she's like determined to keep these demons at bay. That's her power. And she clearly has faith in herself to maintain and keep moving forward. Because like these, like, you know, you think of issues related to madness, having all of these negative thoughts, you know, mental despair, and like that story of Beautiful Mind, that guy, that mathematician, he you know, he was able to survive unmedicated because he was able to conquer the demons and distorted reality within him. And that is something to be, I don't know, celebrated. Like, just, you should be ordained as something when you're able to do that. Goodness gracious. I mean, it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring to, it's also a privilege, right? To have the kind of support to be able to do that. To not have to, I don't know, to be in a position where stigma doesn't get you down, where you don't have to worry about, you know, a roof over your head or food in your mouth because you've got extreme levels of, like, you have like a really great deal of social wealth. So that's that queen right there. The queen has the courage to face their demons. It takes a lot of courage to face your demons, you know, especially if you're just are holding on to stagnant, toxic energy in your heart. And it manifests in your body. You know, you get sick. Trauma has cycles, you know, and it stays there, and you can work through it, and you still have to work through it again because the sun goes around the moon. I mean, because the earth goes around the sun, and you come back to that place, that moment in time. It's different, but it's still there. There we go. So we pulled the Four of Swords and Bacchus. And Bacchus it's number 5, so it's the Hierophant. I believe Bacchus is also like the Roman equivalent to Dionysus. Hope I'm not slaughtering the Greek words or the Roman words for that matter. And ruler of wine and spirits. So totally a Hierophant, like the original Hierophant. I mean, let's talk about monks and making wine. That's what those guys do with their little haircuts and, you know, friar tuck. Also, really philosophical, super philosophical, pondering life, the spirit of life, logic and reason. I know it was a monk who, like, I took a psychology course, and there's a logical fallacy called Occam's razor, and Occam was a monk, a Welsh monk. So this, you know, remember logic and reason when it comes to this suit of the mind, swords. Sometimes you just have to let your mind go. I was actually just watching a reading about that. Detaching your mind. Shout out to Ramblin' Mike. That guy's awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna find this Bacchus card. I know it's the Hierophant, but I know that Mr. Valenza has written down the alternate cards. So let's try to find Bacchus. Not Bacchus, Bacchus. Okay, so I don't see it here. And it could be in the Beast Pack PDF, and I couldn't find that before we started, so we're just gonna wing it and go with Hierophant energy ruled by Taurus. So contracts, like logic, like agreements, consent, you know, it's a logical thing to do, right? If you're in a situation that's toxic, deceitful, you know, this here just speaks to consent. Now the Hierophant usually has to do with like more rigid beliefs, which is like kind of typical of Taurus, to be honest with you. Very domesticated. Like you can, like when you think about bulls, right? They're an animal that you can domesticate. They're also like very wild and violent, but when they get older, once they've been around the block a few times, like they're super domesticated. They love to just chill in the field with the grass that someone else is growing for them. So yeah, they make a really great role model. I don't know. I really like Taurians. I mean, I'm dominant. I'm ruled by a lot of Virgo in my chart, sidereal chart. And I don't know, I just find people who fall under the sign of Taurus are like, they'll hold you up. Like when you think of a bowl and how big it is, like you can just, like, that bowl will take you for a ride. Maybe like it's a good ride, maybe it's like a bucking bronco kind of ride and you get thrown off. But if you can handle it, it is a powerful ride. So enjoy. And yeah, obviously, you know, morality is central to enjoying this ride. All right, so that was our attitude. So morality, issues of morality in your Five of Swords moment. And this could be in your workplace. Like maybe your workplace has a really shitty morale. And I'm really sorry to hear that because I can relate. Like it really sucks to have a crappy morale. Like there are some, like the cat world is real. And I don't know, man. I just, I have certainly awakened to people's capacity for evil and messing with people's minds. It's, I can see people's desire to want justice, but it showed up reversed, you know? You can think that justice and vengeance are satisfying, and maybe they are truly satisfying for you in that moment. But if it's not progressive, if there's nothing sustainable about it, if it's not going to benefit your future or the future of your offspring or your offspring's offspring, then it's for nothing. It's useless. So I hope that you're not the useless person in this situation, and I hope that logically you can deal with whoever's being freaking useless. Christ. That could be leaving the situation. Like, this guy here is, you know, he's taking off. He's going for a ride. He's got his, like, fancy lion, or actually looks kind of like maybe a leopard or a cheetah or some kind of big old cat. Some kind of big old cat taking care of him. Them. Cutie. Strength reversed. It's uncanny how these cards are just like repeating themselves here. Not in the same positions, but so outside influences, and this came up reversed. So you know, folks are seeing you as weak, which is like a them problem. Maybe you do display weakness. But, you know, it could also be that your weakness, you're displaying, like you could have that possum, what is that, the possum tactics, like playing dead, you know? You have to be careful with that, though, because you stay silent enough and, you know, it just becomes repetitive. You're teaching people to treat you that way, right? So it's not always effective. But let's take a look at strength reversed. It's ruled by Leo strength. It has to do with taming the beast within, bondage to the self. You know, if it's reversed, it speaks to low energy. You know, having a lack of confidence, and I tell you, like, this person is confident, but it is. Like, when you're dealing with madness, like, everything comes into question. So it's hard to maintain it's hard to maintain the, you know, the face. Like, it's hard to save face with this, right? And it's exhausting. It's 100% exhausting. Especially if you're like not neurotypical, if you have either mental health issues or you're on the spectrum. Like, masking takes a lot. And it is so important to just, like, you know, to know that you'll get through it, that you are actually strong. Like, this being in reverse does not mean that this is not a possibility, this has not happened before, and that it certainly isn't going to happen again. Like, this is all around. It goes through its cycle as well. And it could coincide with the moon. It could coincide with just like the morale that you're dealing with. And I think it's important to like be in a good group of people, in a good place where there's an understanding. And you know, that isn't even like 100%, like there's no such thing as a truly safe space. Like, you could be in a position where like you're in a what appears to be a really great group, a productive group, but there's still a huge level of toxicity between a few members, you know? So thankfully this is how other people see you. It's difficult to deal with, but not actually where you're at. So I just actually want to clarify that with the oracle. And I'm just going to read off the artwork, I think, because I don't know, is it in this section? Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, so it's in this section. I toyed with the idea of actually like just incorporating these oracles into the deck. It was interesting because you can, like, these cards are like super relevant to actual cards like in the major arcana. They just aren't numbered the same. They're numbered 1 to 10. But you'll see what I mean, hopefully, just now. I don't know if this is part of the beast pack. Yeah, this actually, this guy doesn't belong here. Whoops. All right. And here we have Naughty Naughty. Naughty demons. So as you can see, this is justice right here. So someone's going to get chastised. Someone is about to get chastised. I don't know who it is, but this one's going to take care of it because she was not happy about being in the upside down. Unacceptable. We got our archetype today, Mr. Lord Lemongrab. Okay. I love Adventure Time. My kids love it more though. Anyways. 3 demons meekly approach the reprimand of justice. Truly remorseful for their misdeeds, the submissive demons hope for forgiveness as they prepare to accept the deserved punishment to come. So, these submissive demons, they got things under control still, because they are preparing to accept their punishment. And I don't know, they probably like are kind of like it. It's like you're in a situation where people are, I don't know, it's like, you know, that conflict is sort of a necessary evil, but when it's a group of toxic people, like it's like that satisfaction, emotional addiction, you know, like making up, like makeup sex, right? So, making amends, though. On a platonic level, let's talk about making amends. We don't need to get down and dirty every time. However, you know, we are using a deck made by the creator of the Deviant Moon. So, facing consequences, obedience, and knowing your place. And there's like knowing, being obedient and knowing your place. There's a power in that for some folks. It's familiarity. It's just having a routine. And also just knowing when you've stepped out of line, you know. And it's also knowing when to let other folks know that they've stepped out of line. Asserting yourself on that level, you know? Because they're not going to respect you if you keep not saying something about it. And it's hard. It's not easy, but like once you begin to do it, it feels better. Like, you know, you're dealing with the kind of person that always says stuff like, are you sure? Or, you know, just questioning your decision making in a way that is undermining, even though like you're a grown-up and fully capable and it's just what you want to do. And anyways, so it's that type of situation where you like decide to tell them like, hey, so when you speak to me like this, it actually is rude because you're undermining the my decision making process. So, and it goes beyond like, when you say this, it makes me feel that. Or when you say this, I feel this. It's like, no, when you say this, you're actually just being rude. And it's not okay. So for all of you passive-aggressive individuals out there that like to undermine other people or say things under your breath, those cutting whispers, it's not effective. It just isn't. It's not progressive. You know, the whole lateral violence, business of lateral violence is, how are we going to be empowered and strong and move forward if we are being lateral violent? So right now, like, this card is me calling all of you laterally violent folks out. It's not progressive. All right. So, hopes and fears. We have the King of Cups reversed. So I guess fear of not being the boss of, I don't know, I guess fear of like being underdeveloped as a, like, emotionally. Fear of not, what's the word? Developing or being strong, being weak, emotionally manipulative, which also is very much tied into being manipulative in general, but psychologically abusive. Goodness, pardon me. We are doing Tarot After Dark, and I am starting to fade out, but we're good. Got a few more minutes. This is going to be a bit of a long one, but a good one. We got this supermoon energy where the moon is closest to us right now. You know, the coming together of two divine feminines the earth and the moon. The moon rules our waters. It's going to have a moment of rejuvenation with this lunar eclipse, so it could be seen as a point of weakness, or it could be seen as a moment of, moment of change. And I'm just searching up the King of Cups right now. Here we go. So our king is immature. So not growing. Not growing is the fear. Being frustrated, creatively, emotionally frustrated, could even be sexually frustrated. What do we have? Sexual frustration is not a good relationship to have with yourself. And this guy is all about one in spirits. So what is it that you need to do to honor your sexuality, honor your sexual urges, and, find that relief? Whether it's with somebody, with yourself, or, healing any trauma that you've had that is blocking this for you. Like, this is root chakra, and this is root chakra, and also we have, like, again, throat chakra, right? So there is, like, huge amounts of strength in your survival of whatever you've been through. Some people may see what you're going through right now as a weakness, but it's a process. It is a process that requires you to be strong and nurturing towards yourself. This is also self-serving. So there's a fear of being narcissistic, a fear of letting your trauma get the best of you, of becoming that toxic person that subscribes to this bullshit, trauma culture, lateral violence, and feeding off of it. You like the point of punishment, maybe. Getting caught obviously isn't the goal, but when you do, it's just a form of release. It's like that. It's like that a-hole that feels a weight has been lifted off of his shoulder when they reveal to their partner that they were cheating. Totally self-serving, because you don't want to live with your guilt. Okay, so our final card, we have the Six of Cups. I think the Six of Cups, I might be confusing with the Eight, is walking away. Let me just... Oh, no, the Seven is decision making. 8 is walking away. And the 6 is... Okay. Oh, I remember the 6. Yes. Okay, so it's the two kitties, the two cuties. One giving a flower to the other. I'm thinking Rider-Waite. So nostalgia, fond memories from the past. This could be sharing, innocence, and I don't know, maybe like an old friend comes through. Maybe like a good old friend. Someone who knows you from a long time, or like this could also be just finding a person who feels like you've known them from a long time. Like someone who you know you would have just like rolled with as a kid, who would have been a part of your little crew, who would have, you know, gone into trouble with you and also covered for you and maybe also threw you under the bus once or twice, back and forth, but like the love is still there, it doesn't matter. Someone who you know what they've gone through because you've lived similarly. Maybe you're from the same place, grew up in the same place, but maybe not together. Just someone who has like a kindred spirit. So, like, that could be what's coming towards you, a relationship that is of a kindred spirit. And this also could just be like recognizing, you know, that even these bitches are still kindred spirits despite your differences in morale or your growth and their lack of growth. And, you know, that fear that came through with this reversed king, that could be a fear also that this person who is external to you is not going to grow. And like, that's such a valid fear to have. Like, having to let people go, knowing that, like, you know, maybe they would one day grow up and figure it out, but like you won't be around to see it, or that they just won't do that. Like, you know, you just, you see people's potential and you want the best for them because you love them, but like you just can't deal with a pack of bitches anymore because it's like killing you inside. It's messed up, but like there's this type of love still exists and it's there. It's just waiting for the right moment. You know, that moment will reveal itself and you know deep down inside that this is the truth. It's so important to remember and understand that, you know, this toxic environment you're dealing with, this isn't set in stone. There's movement that will occur. There's justice. Justice will be served. Yeah. Titties out and everything. These ones want their justice. It's like that negative affirmation that they're stuck in. A cycle of negative affirmation. So they need their moment. They want their moment, even though they come through kicking and screaming. All right. So I hope that it's not you that needs that moment, but if it is, I hope you get it sooner than later. Because Lord knows the earth has gone around the sun almost twice with not a whole lot happening but trauma and strife and struggle. We don't need it anymore. Need a break. You know, and it's totally understandable that people lash out in this time. But it's also just, it's so, it's like, is it like a catch-22 or, I don't even know. It doesn't matter. It's just, it's so surreal to see, at least in my situation, like, I don't know. It's just, it's so surreal to see what people are capable of. The level of shade. You know, you get to a point and there just is no more kindness to kill it with because you've been through so much shit. And I don't know, I guess all we can do is pray for those individuals. Anyways, we have spent some time, and I really Hope that I can still upload this video. So good night to you all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I hope that you are willing to hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, I appreciate you walking with me on this lunar journey, this journey that we mark with lunar cycles. So take it easy. Happy super blood moon in Libra for the sidereal measurers, and for the western measurers, happy Sagittarius super moon, super blood moon, super blood. All right, good night, folks. Love, love.